Sometimes you finish watching an anime and think to yourself, it was pretty good. But then there are those rare moments when you stumble upon something so unusual, so uncomfortable, yet so oddly ingenuous that you're left questioning how it ever came to be. That perfectly sums up my experience with Migi and Dali. Beneath its weird storyline and unnerving humor lies a series that might just be one of the smartest and most unsettling anime creations in recent years. Moo to you, YouTube! Hi, I'm a cow in your garden, and today we are talking about Migi and Dali and how fucking great it was. Before we dive into it though, make sure to like this video if you feel like it and subscribe if you're feeling generous. Thanks a lot. In 2023, like a lot of people, I stumbled upon this anime on TikTok because it very quickly started trending for one particular reason. It's very questionable animation choices. I don't know how to word it better than that. Which is an evergreen truth when it comes to Migi to Dali. Altogether, this anime has been hard for me to categorize. But just in case you haven't watched it, or perhaps don't remember much, let me summarize it to you. Migi to Dali, or simply Migi and Dali, was originally a manga created by Nami Sano and later animated into a 13-episode series by Geek Toys and Comtown. We're following the Sonoyama family, a couple who more than anything want to have children. However, being unable to conceive one, they decide to adopt. They end up welcoming a blonde, pale-skinned boy as their son, the young Hitori. At first glance, everything seems perfect. The perfect family, perfect house, perfect town, and most importantly, perfect son. Hitori is polite, sweet, loving, grateful to his parents who love him unconditionally, not knowing that he keeps a heavy, very heavy secret. Hitori doesn't exist. He's nothing more than a mask worn by not one but two individuals, Migi and Dali, the identical twins the Tsunoyama adopted without even knowing it. That sounds pretty crazy already, doesn't it? Well, it's only the beginning, because the twins actually have a motive, another secret, a will that have them moving very wildly in this town. With a premise such as this one, you're probably expecting a goofy type of anime, and you're not wrong, it definitely is, but I think it'd be easy for a lot of you to, just like I did, expect nothing more, really. An extravagant story, weird characters, and silly stunts so grotesque that it just works. Absurd animes have always been quite liked, but I've witnessed a clear rise in interest from the greater audience in this genre. People were glazing strong, heavy plot-oriented animes, then turned around and started watching what I like to describe as the animes you can watch while your brain is resting. Very fondly, of course. Traditional storytelling makes the assumption that viewers need structure, a well-thought-out story, complex characters, and a fitting universe for the whole plot to make sense, to be believable, even if it's sci-fi or paranormal. That's why we have so many animes and mangas with long, very long stories, a bunch of cool adventures and battles, characters with clear goals, powers, and solid morals. You know, friendship, loyalty, courage, and such. The things that make our world go round. No, Earth is flat! And yet, structure is honestly not the first word that comes into mind when I think about how we humans view things. Our emotions change very quickly and our thoughts randomly pop in unexpected ways, most of the time without transition. So if anything, absurd animes put into cool animation what we know best and can all relate to a certain extent. A mess! If we try to analyze and point out what makes an absurd anime absurd, you will most often, though not always, find discontinuous scenes, dramatic escalations, and very sudden tonal shifts. Basically, these fuck-ass animes might be popular among some of you because all its codes mimic how the world is perceived rather than reality itself. So you relate, simultaneously put enough distance not to be put off, and find comedic relief. Hell yeah. And of course, that goes without saying, surprise plays a big part into it. Absurd animes do rely on it a lot. Why do a lot of people dislike fairy tale, for example? There might be a lot of reasons, but a thing I've heard a lot is that it's predictable. When a problem or fight starts, you already know that, of course, the good guys are going to win, or at least find a solution to survive and move on, and all that thanks to the power of friendship. Fuck! So yeah, it's cool to watch an anime or read a manga where close to nothing can be expected. Nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared me for Sakamoto's fencing skills. Expect the unexpected? I'm sorry, sometimes you can't. You can't. Needless to say, this type of anime is also pretty popular nowadays for a much simpler reason. It perfectly taps into internet's brain rot culture. That's it, really. Plenty of people have said it before me, okay? This generation makes no fucking sense, and I cannot wait to see how historians will talk about it in the future in books. If the planet doesn't die first, that is. And last but not least, this, friends, is the section where I can dwell in my mantra. Everything is political. We live in a world that encourages neatness, control, and form. Everything has to be meaningful, but effortlessly so. You don't want to look like a tryhard. Based solely on that, absurd animes and mangas can be seen as a form of rebellion, believe it or not. Studios like Gainax, Shaft, and DLE are a big fuck you to this convention. Seriously, some of their works look like parodies. I'm living for it. Of course, all these reasons are what I came up with, but perhaps you like silly franchises for completely different ones. This is all very, very subjective. It always is when it comes to taste regarding media. It's not to say that these animes don't have any story, more so that it is not the most important, or definitely not the strength of the whole franchise. Usually comedy is. You're watching funny characters doing funny stuff in a funny universe because it's good to be lighthearted sometimes. I can think of Gakuen Handsome or Sekko Boys to name those I've seen. And if you like not so serious stuff but still with a certain intrigue, then perhaps a lot of you have seen The Disastrous Life of Saiki K, or haven't you heard I'm Sakamoto, which was also created by Nami Sano, by the way. But that's the thing, while and after watching Migi to Dali, I genuinely didn't feel the same way as when I was watching the animes I just mentioned. I was hooked. I was kept on my toes the entire time. I was actually quite surprised by the seriousness and the gravity of the whole story. It was goofy. Goofy as hell, but not executed like a goofy anime and nothing more. Like, yes, Migi and Dali are secretly switching positions under the table doing inhuman acrobatics, but hey, it's not funny. It's a sick, dark, and twisted yet intelligent move from these underdog twins trying to keep their separate existence hidden. Everything is so tense. That's it. The execution. That's the reason number one of why I like this anime so much. Though I guess it would be number two, since the very first one would have to be the story itself, the premise. Mystery was a big part of the anime all along. Dare I say, this anime was a fucking mystery. I'm trying not to spoil anything, so I'll be as vague as possible, which also means you'll just have to take my word for it. It was all very intriguing, and although, again, a bit silly at times, I went through the episodes while genuinely making theories about the plot, analyzing scenes and every info given to find answers before they were spoon-fed to me by the animation. And there again, won't go into details, can't say much, but I absolutely loved the ending. I was not expecting that. Though I guess I don't really know what I was expecting. Because the story was good to me, and not only that, but because it was executed in this way, I watched the whole anime so quickly. I mean, it is very short, okay, but my attention span is even shorter, so it usually takes me a little while, but not in that case. A mysterious story with grotesque stunts, unhinged characters, and a very fitting atmosphere. I guess you could say that's another reason why I like Nigito Dali, the gothic-like aura radiating off it, very dark and full of mist, coupled with the music and those weird-ass twins. Yeah, it was an experience. Last time I've liked an atmosphere in an anime so much, aside from the characters and the story, was when I was watching Moriarty The Patriot. I gravitate towards that sort of universe. There again, of course, it is totally subjective and it's a matter of vibes, we could say, and I love to catch a vibe. In that sentiment, I can think about Death Note, Black Butler, Another, Shiki, Devilman Crybaby, animes of not just horror for the most part, but mostly mystery. Yeah, that's a soft spot of mine. It wasn't a firework of weirdness exploding in my face. Everything was incredibly unsettling, but nothing felt out of place somehow. Overall, I think I love Migi to Dali in the same way I love One Punch Man. It's so grotesque that it just works. I'm so curious to know what you guys thought about Migi to Dali if you've already watched it. How would you rate it, I guess? It's, not even joking, an easy 9 out of 10 for me. It was that striking. The perfect balance between seriousness and goofy ass shit, between story and atmosphere, and overall just very fun. This made me laugh out loud so many times, which doesn't really happen a lot. I guess I'm just a very boring person. Can you tell? Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Remember to like if you want, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you next time, I guess. Bye!